Capturing the dust and debris from power tools immediately and right where it's made is the best way to keep your shop and the air you're breathing cleaner. But that can be hard to do with routers for a couple of reasons. Much of the dust and debris a router produces must be captured above the workpiece, inside the little area of the router base that surrounds the bit and the collet. The trouble is, there's not a lot of room here for a dust collection fitting. And oftentimes, the built-in dust collection systems, like the one on the handle of this router, just aren't very effective. Here's problem number 2. In flush trimming or edge profiling situations, debris must be captured below the router, beside the bit. That's also a challenging spot for dust collection. Well, Rockler has a couple of dust-right accessories that can solve both problems. Capturing dust and debris above the workpiece and inside the router base, or below the router base, beside the bit. For dust collection inside the router base, here's the dust-right Whirlwind router dust extraction system with Click Connect. It consists of a rugged, 3/8 inch thick acrylic baseplate that's pre-drilled with hole patterns to fit the fixed or plunge bases of more than a dozen popular mid-size routers. This rotary mechanism in the middle of the baseplate completely surrounds the router bit for more effective dust collection. The mechanism swivels and raises or lowers the Whirlwind's dust port arm a 1/4 inch along its travel to accommodate the openings and thicknesses of different router bases. And this Click Connect flex support, which is included, attaches the Whirlwind base to Rockler's Click Connect vacuum hose adapter. There's also this black removable bushing insert. Its stepped hole is sized to fit standard 1 3/16 inch diameter guide bushings for template routing. Rockler provides an assortment of screws in various lengths and thread pitches for attaching the Whirlwind dust extraction system to your midsize router. Now that I've got a Whirlwind installed on my DeWalt router, let's take it for a spin. I'm going to route a 5/8 inch wide groove on this piece of MDF. Routing MDF is one of the dustiest routing operations there is, so this should give us a good idea of how well the Whirlwind works. When attached to a dust extractor or shop vacuum, the dust-right Whirlwind router dust extraction system allows very little of the routing debris to escape the router or accumulate in the groove. If it weren't for this Whirlwind, MDF's superfine powdery dust would be billowing up and spreading everywhere. It's definitely a mess you don't want to breathe or have to clean up. Another good reason for having Whirlwind dust extraction on your router is when you're making stopped trap cuts, like mortises, or when you're using inside templates for routing butterfly recesses, dovetails, or lettering for signs. Keeping the wood chips and debris out of the cutting area will make sure your guide bushing or bit's pilot bearing won't get impacted by the accumulating debris, which could stop the cut short of the termination points or make template edges harder to follow without binding. So the Whirlwind captures dust and debris inside the router base and above the workpiece. But what about situations like flush trimming and edge profiling, where most of the dust being made is happening below the router and beside the bit? That's where Rockler's dust-right edge routing dust port comes in handy. It's a simple, one-piece plastic angled port with a wing nut that threads on top. It'll mount on any router base plate that's made to fit 1 3/16 inch diameter template guide bushings. Just thread the wing nut on by hand to install it. No tools are necessary. The port is 2.5 inch outside diameter and 2.25 inch inside diameter, so it fits the standard nozzle sizes of most larger shop vacuum hoses or 2.5 inch dust collector hoses. The edge routing dust port can accommodate edge profiling bits such as roundovers, chamfers, coves, or rabbiting bits up to 1 inch in diameter with pilot bearings that are at least 1/2 inch in diameter. You'll also appreciate this dust collection accessory with flush trim and pattern bits. When you're trimming plastic laminate, wood veneer, or shelf edging flush, or when you're routing with outside templates, the port's opening will accept templates and work pieces that have a combined thickness of up to 1 3/4 inches. Rockler's dust-right Whirlwind router dust extraction system with Click Connect and edge routing dust port will help make cleaner work of your handheld routing tasks. See them at your local Rockler store or learn more at rockler.com. I'm Chris Marshall with Woodworker's Journal magazine in Rockler, and thanks for watching.